The second set of the day is going to be played on Bel'Shir Vestige. Spawning in the top left-hand position is the blue Protoss, playing for Samsung Khan. His name is Stork.
His opponent is from Kespa teammate, spawning as orange Protoss on the right bottom corner of the map. His name is Terminator. Stork looks like he's really tired today.
Whoa, yeah, he does actually.
He's like half asleep.
Well, hopefully that doesn't affect his match here today. I'll have to see here. Terminator looking pretty normal, pretty standard. Sharp. The normal Terminator look.
He did play really well yesterday, contributing to his team, getting a 4-0 victory against Wounded Stars yesterday.
Yeah, he did. And you know, Terminator, you know, he did go on a bit of a losing streak, but you know, we have seen some pretty solid play from him overall. Him and Argo.
It's not like Terminator started losing a lot of games because he played bad, but it's because his opponents play much better.
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm trying to say is Terminator, it's not like he started playing really bad to a point where he did go on a losing streak, but his skills are still there.
Yeah.
It was just unlucky for him.
Indeed. And, you know, I'm wondering when players are going to start trying to proxy in different locations.
I'm not too sure.
Like this, man. Because, you know, you always see that proxy Stargate, you know, above the bottom right-hand player's base, like in the expansion north of him.
Here's the thing, where would you hide it then?
I'd probably put it at the third base. I think the third base is a really unlikely place. Maybe even the base to the north of the third, on the bottom side of the map.
Speaking of proxy, Terminator is checking for a proxy pylon at his own natural and just double checking to make sure that Stork is not doing anything sneaky today. Stork is a player who loves throwing some different builds here and there. He knows how to play standard games, he knows how to play cheesy games.
You know what, I've actually noticed he's been doing less of those weird cheesy builds recently, and I think that may be hurting him a little bit, and one of the reasons why he could be on one of these losing streaks.
Yeah, I mean, yes, well, when you cheese a lot, your opponent is going to expect to cheese. Yes, that is a given, but also if it doesn't. But the thing is, if the macro style isn't your style, then you need to stay aggressive, and that means throwing in some cheeses here and there, and just playing really aggressive against your opponent.
We do have the double gateway opening from Terminator here. You know, a lot of different potential options from this opening, but the most important thing is that it leaves you really safe. And Stork going for a fast expand here. And looking at the units the Terminator is getting, I have a feeling he's going to grab an early expansion as well.
He's going to grab an early expansion, but the Stork, he got an earlier expansion, and I'm surprised that he's going for 2 gateways before the Nexus. He wants to make sure that when he goes for the early expansion, it does not get taken down by some type of aggressive 3-gate play. That's the reason why he's getting a sentry and a second gateway right away, but it's going to work against him today as Stork picked the greediest build when it comes to the PvP.
Yeah, that's the thing with PvP. You know, the greedier player, if they get away with it, they generally have a nice edge throughout the game. And we've seen some of these Starks being chronoed out here. So it looks like Terminator's really expecting something aggressive from Stork, but that's obviously not what's going to come his way.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's just going to poke out with some of his stalkers, trying to see where the proxy pylon may be, and then throw down a Nexus to himself after realizing that it's safe to do so.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Terminator grabbing the expansion.
So when Protoss players usually go for the fast expand in PvP, this is a general way to do it. Get some stalkers out, get a sentry, and then while scouting around his main base to check for proxy pylons that might have been thrown down, that's when you throw down the Nexus. That's the safest way. Stork played it really greedy.
Yeah, he played it really greedy, and it was a bit risky. Now, looking at the tech path choices here, Stork continuing with the trend of being greedy. He's going for the Stargate over the Robo, which means if your opponent goes for a lot of aggression early on with Stalkers,
even DTs,
or even DTs, you can just straight up lose his in like a build order loss. But Stork, you know, I mean, at least he'll have the Oracle.
Yeah.
So he can use that if his opponent's going for DTs. That's obviously not the case. Stork and Terminator both have very minimal scouting information on each other. This hallucinated Phoenix from Terminator will see everything, though.
He sees everything. He sees the Nexus timing, and Stork, he does take out the Phoenix. I'm not too sure, no. And he could have been, if he had better micro, he could have denied it, but, you know, the Phoenixes are quite fast.
They are quite fast, even though hallucinating units take more damage.
And look at this, Stork opening up with the Oracle, saying, well, I want to be a little bit more defensive if my opponent starts with a DT first, because I didn't scout what my opponent is going for. Just want to double check.
All right, Oracle out. He's going to move across the map, try to do a bit of damage for Terminator. He knows about it, though, so...
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. He's got Stalkers in his mineral line, and even getting a Forge behind this, so wants to make sure he's covered on all grounds.
Yeah.
Getting that early upgrade advantage is nice, too.
It's so annoying if there's too many Phoenixes out, and Terminator is saying, well, I'm not going to follow up with a Phoenix, so I'm going to throw down some cannons here and there.
Whoa, interesting. Stork getting a second Oracle behind this as well.
This is something that you don't see every day.
It's a lot more likely against Terran players, but...
Yeah.
No, I mean, we'll see if it works out.
Nice kills, but it's Stork on top of his micro. Remember, Oracles kill the probes fast, but you also need to be on top of your micro to save the Oracle in the end.
Yeah, I also like that Stork's going into the Robotech after this as well, and having these two Oracles on the map are going to be really annoying.
Yeah. Well, think about this. Oracles, yes, you can use the Oracles for detection, but eventually you want the Observer out because you don't want to use the mana for the Revelation Envision. You want to use mana to get the Revelation down or get some probe kills inside the main base.
Yep.
So eventually, even if you open up Stargate, eventually you want to get a Robo out at least for the Observer.
Yeah, these two are... Observer's still very, very useful in this game. All right, the Oracle's going to move in here, trying to find an open area.
It's a double Oracle inside the main base.
Unfortunately for Stork, there's 3 Stalkers in this mineral line here. We'll have to see how he reacts to it. He kills 2, 3, 4.
And the Oracle at the natural gets taken out. And this time around, he didn't micro well. He does get up to 12 kills.
Yeah. So I think that's really close as far as, is that investment really worth it?
It's like a little bit at the edge. Given the fact that Stork went for really early expansion, I have to say it's worth it. If you see the probe count, it's 47 to 34.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest difference here. I think.
If you look at the unit composition from the 2 players, if Terminator starts pushing out, Stork can defend against it, no problem.
Yeah. Stork also, he's at 83 supply compared to the 65 of his opponent Terminator, and because of that probe advantage, he's going to be able to continue pressing that.
Stork can do anything that he wants right now. He's getting every single tech out. He's getting up to Robo. He is completely scouting what his opponent is going for, while Terminator, he knows that he lost a lot of probes, and all he can do right now is catch up. He is going to have a nice upgrade advantage, however, as Stork, he is only starting his Forge, while Terminator's +1 is almost done.
Indeed. Still continued production from both players here. Got 2 Immortals up for Stork, 1 on the way, almost 2 for Terminator, but we're going to see that Colossus tech soon from Stork because he did start building that Robotics Bay. But Templar Archives from Terminator, interesting.
Did he misread what his opponent is going for?
I'm pretty sure
possible.
I mean, he did see 2 Oracles.
Yeah, he did see 2 Oracles. Did he have a scouting inside the main base afterwards? I do believe there was a hallucinated Phoenix. Not too sure if it's all the Robo Bay. Well, he's going to get a double confirmation here, so it seems like he wants to go for a really heavy Charge Lot Archon timing push.
Now, the Charge Lot Archon timing push is really strong, and it's great against Colossus-based armies before the Colossus count hits 5. But once it hits 5, and if the other Protoss player has good SimCity, those do really good job at countering the Charge Lot Archon composition.
Stork making a little mistake pulling the probes with the main army over there. You're not Terran. You can't do that.
Yep. All right, Archon's on the way now, and Terminator continuing to build Immortals behind this. Also, Terminator's going to block the 3rd base. Whoa, Stork.
Yeah, like I said, he's not a Terran player. He can't do that. He needs to use the probes.
Is he really afraid of
lines.
something here? I mean, it's kind of weird. Oh, Proximity Pylon scouted there anyway, and that'll get picked off.
This is a little bit funky. I'm pretty sure, yeah, those are even not grouped up with the main army. And
okay,
yeah,
I think
that was a mistake.
Stork's probably thinking, oh, crap. Well, he's got a cannon in the main, or excuse me, at the natural. The Zealots over here going to see this and go ahead and pick off that pylon. Stork planning to take his 3rd base here. Terminator not grabbing his 3rd yet. He may just try to go for the 2-base attack. A 2nd Robo on the way for Stork. That's excellent. It's what he wants to get in this situation.
I have to say, Terminator, if he really wants to go for, if he really wanted to drag out the mid-game, I think he could have gone for the 3rd base a little bit earlier. But now he's going for the Nexus, as you see on the minimap. He has 3 Immortals and 3 Archons in his main army, while getting a 4th Immortal out and following up with a Stargate of his own. But look at this, Stork. Of course, his teammate's name is Zhongbi, and Zhongbi is known for Zealot run-bys.
All right, the Zealots are going to move in here. That Nexus, not too high on health here. At the same time, Terminator, it looks like he wants to move out across the map. The Zealots actually going to the natural, and the Terminator instantly turning around. The Zealots move to the 3rd base. They're going to do their best to try to take that out. There's some reinforcements warping in here, but will they get there in time? It looks like yes. Terminator will defend.
They get there just in time, but also think about this. He bought just enough time to start the double row of production to get the Colossus out. But look at this, behind this Terminator, he is transitioning into Fleet Beacon. He wants to get the Tempest out against the Colossus.
Yes, yes, this is excellent. I'm glad I'm seeing this, because Terminator now, if he gets that enough time, you know, things will turn and he's going to have that army advantage.
Yeah, but if Stork exactly knows what's happening from Terminator, he should just press on forward for the attack.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed though, Terminator's been doing a much better job scouting his opponent's army composition than Stork. He needs to be sending out those hallucinated Phoenix more and see exactly what his opponent's up to.
Yeah, so Stork, there is a need for Stork to start attacking into his opponent before 2, 3, 4 Tempests come out.
Alright, so 2 Tempests on the way for Terminator. He's going to be able to add them into his army composition to counter those Colossus pretty effectively.
Yeah, as long as Terminator does not press forward too much, then he's going to be okay, and we missed the Observer over there. So Stork now knows that he is playing against time as the Tempests are coming out, and that's the reason why Stork is pushing now.
Alright, Stork got a bit of a mistake.
Well, those 2 armies are out of position for both players. As Terminator decides to push up on the left side, and Stork is pushing down on the right side.
A bit of a mistake. Stork still has a pretty solid supply advantage over his opponent. But will that be enough? He needs the push soon, or the Tempests are eventually going to take care of everything here. Nice solid run by from Stork, but it's not going to really do too much damage.
So at this point, what is the best situation for Stork if he can't push down? Because, you know, he was trying to push down, 1 Colossus got picked up, and Stork, that was enough to scare away Stork in that position.
It was. I think Stork, he either needs to get Tempests of his own, maybe Board Rays even. Board Rays are really good against the Tempest. He's got to make a unit that can counter them. Storm is not amazing against Tempest because they're so far away and they have got a lot of health. So it really just becomes, you have to counter the Tempest with other air units.
Well, now we have up to 3 Tempests coming out, possibly more, because we don't see how many unit counts there are. And look at this Terminator, he has an Observer on top of the main army. So you know, throughout the whole game, he's been using a nice job with the hallucinated Phoenix, and now even using the Observer to scout what Stork has.
Yeah. And, I'm not sure I agree with this. Stork moving in here with a lot of charge lots, moving into the natural.
Yeah, but Terminator also not scouting that in time. That's going to go inside the natural and some inside the main base.
A few Zealots over here from Terminator are going to do damage to Stork's 3rd base, but the charge lots moving into the main base, I'm not sure if this is a great decision. They're not going to do a lot of damage.
Think about this. He has a lot of minerals, so if his opponent pushes out and he needs to warp in a lot of units, he can do it but that Warp Prism gets picked off, so execution wasn't perfect.
I feel like we're seeing a lot of little mini mistakes here from Stork, unfortunately.
Think about this. He doesn't have that much anti-air because of the Stalkers. He saw the Tempest, so his emergency response is going to be Blink Stalkers. This is something that he loves to go for. Remember the last game when we saw a PvC between Stork and some Zerg player on Newkirk? He decided to go for the Blink Stalkers, and while it may not be the greatest choice, it's a choice that Stork always goes for in this type of scenario.
I guess that's what he's looking for, but I mean, look at the Immortals and Harkons in this army from Terminator. No, this positioning not too bad from Stork, but the problem is the Tempests are just completely tearing apart these Colossus. There's not many of them left, but the Arc's still really good from Stork. Is it enough?
The Archons are doing nothing from the back from Terminator, but the Colossus are being taken out 1 by 1. The Stalkers are going for the Tempest 1 by 1, but remember, the Tempest eat away on the ground army, and that's a lot of charge shots coming through.
The charge shots moving in here are going to seal the deal for Terminator, and he's going to completely obliterate Stork's army. The Colossus composition does not work when your opponent has enough Tempests out.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, there's only 3 Tempests, so that's the reason why Stork decided to go for the attack. You need 5 Tempests to one-shot the Colossus, but Stork, he engaged before the blink was done. So Stalkers, they were just playing around on the lower ramp, quote-unquote trying to fire at the Tempest, but in reality, it did nothing.
Let's also not forget the Colossus count was not too high for Stork. He only had, I believe, 4 Colossus in his army, maybe 5 max, but, you know, Terminator, he's moving in here, is going to be able to easily take out this 3rd base here.
Think about this. If he just went for the A Colossus composition, whoa, GG! If he went for the A Colossus, yes, the Colossus would have been taken out by the Tempest, but he would have dominated the ground army from Terminator.
So, Stork, you know, he was ahead throughout a lot of that game, but we saw, you know, a lot of little mini mistakes from him. And Terminator, it looks like he had the better understanding of PvP and the proper late game unit composition. So with that, Kespa Team 8 is going to even out the score 1-1.
1-1, and we are going to go into set number 3 on Athlon Wastes. It is going to be another PvP between Zhongbi and Argo.
Yes, they'll be on Akalon Waste, so we'll see if this PvP has any bearing on the next one. We got to go into a quick commercial break, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this break.